We owe a lot to the Indians, who taught us how to count, without which no worthwhile scientific discovery could have been made. Indians are the Italians of Asia and vice versa. Every man in both countries is a singer when he is happy. And every woman is a dancer when she walks to the shop at the corner. For them, food is the music inside the body and music is the food inside the heart. Amour or pyar makes every man a poet, a princess of peasant girl if only for second eyes of man and woman meets. India is not a nation, nor a country. It is a subcontinent of nationalities. I don't want that our loyalty as Indians should be in the slightest way affected by any competitive loyalty, whether that loyalty arises out of our religion, out of our culture, or out of our language. I want all people to be Indians first, Indian last, and nothing else but Indians. Everything is recycled in India, even life. India is the cradle of the human race, the birthplace of human speech, the mother of history, the grandmother of legend and the great-grandmother of tradition. Our most valuable and most constructive materials in the history of the man are treasured up in India only. India teaches me again and again that the categories into which I try to divide things don't hold up.
India is a place where color is doubly bright. Pinks that scald your eyes, blues you could drown in. India is not, as people keep calling it, an underdeveloped country, but rather, in the context of its history and cultural heritage, a highly developed one in an advanced state of decay. You can take the Indian out of the family, but you cannot take the family out of the Indian. India, a land where the last thing one needs to bother with is looking good. In India, at least in the circles I moved in, it's natural to look beautiful by the smile in your heart and the way you move through the world. India has 2 million gods, and worships them all. In religion all other countries are paupers. India is the only millionaire. India is the one land that all men desire to see, and having seen once, by even a glimpse, would not give that glimpse for all the shows of all the rest of the globe combined. If I were asked under what sky the human mind has most fully developed some of its choicest gifts, has most deeply pondered on the greatest problems of life, and has found solutions, I should point to India. I am an Indian and we celebrate all festivals in every region of every religion. That is why it is called Incredible India. In India, I found a race of mortals living upon the earth, but not adhering to it, inhabiting cities, but not being fixed to them, possessing everything, but possessed by nothing. To me, India's always represented everything, it represents all. Everything is here. You can stay here forever, and you'll never feel like you've missed out on life. India will teach us the tolerance and gentleness of mature mind, understanding spirit and a unifying, pacifying love for all human beings. Waking up in India is like waking up to life itself. India has many customs and rituals that may seem bizarre to anyone not used to its distinctive culture. It is a strange combination of being a young nation as well as an ancient country. It is the intense spirituality of India, and not any great political structure or social organization that it has developed, that has enabled it to resist the ravages of time and the accidents of history. Gravitation was known to the Hindus before the birth of Newton. The system of blood circulation was discovered by them centuries before Harvey was heard of. It is true that even across the Himalayan barrier India has sent to the West such gifts as grammar and logic, philosophy and fables, hypnotism and chess, and above all numerals and the decimal system. After the conversations about Indian philosophy, some of the ideas of quantum physics that had seemed so crazy suddenly made much more sense. Whenever I have read any part of the Vedas, I have felt that some unearthly and unknown light illuminated me. In the great teaching of the Vedas, there is no touch of sectarianism. It is of all ages, climes, and nationalities and is the royal road for the attainment of the great knowledge. When I read it, I feel that I am under the spangled heavens of a summer night. Our present knowledge of the nervous system fits in so accurately with the internal description of the human body given in the Vedas 5,000 years ago. Then the question arises whether the Vedas are really religious books or books on anatomy of the nervous system and medicine. If I would be given a chance to rewrite the dictionary, I would flip through the pages so quick and would replace India with the land where beauty is redefined in itself, kindness has been touched, warmth has been spread and emotions have been felt. Don't we each have the right to not stop seeking until we get as close to the source of wonder as possible? Even if it means coming to India and kissing trees in the moonlight for a while. The world is my home and India is my living room. I'm independent in my living room to explore, hoping someday I will also be able to explore my own home. In India, even the most mundane inquiries have a habit of ending this way. There may be 2 answers, there may be 5, a dozen or 100, the only thing that is certain is that all will be different. When the land of snake charmers begins charming the world, the credit goes to its people, its youth. Living in a small town in India was like living in a glass house. India will reveal to you the places in your heart that must be purified. If there is one place on the face of earth, where all the dreams of living men have found a home from the very earliest days when man began the dream of existence, it is India. I like the evening in India, the one magic moment when the sun balances on the rim of the world, and the hush descends, and 10,000 civil servants drift homeward on a river of bicycles, brooding on Lord Krishna and the cost of living. I noted that people are happy here in India. When I went back home, people had everything in the materialistic sense and were surrounded with abundance, but they were not happy. But nothing in India is identifiable. The mere asking of a question causes it to disappear or to merge in something else. In some peculiar way, indeed, the rules were now beginning to seem quite logical. It was then I knew that I had been in India long enough. To other countries, I may go as a tourist, but to India, I come as a pilgrim. The train system in India is chaotic and fun. It's the best way to see the landscape. Being in with all the families and also being the odd animal is a colorful experience you'll never forget. There are 3 trips you take to India: the one you think you're going to have, that you plan for, the one you actually have, and the one you live through once you go back home. Rains are an act of God in India. And God, as we know, is a law unto himself. He is not responsible, neither is he accountable. That is the essence of God. He gives with 2 hands and takes away with 8 more. Why else would Indian gods and goddesses have several pairs of hands? Until she went with him to India the first time after they were married. Then it all made sense, and she realized that the hospitality he displayed to all guests was larger than he was. It was cultural, hereditary, something coded into his DNA. I listened to the sound of India's voices for the last time. Laughter ripples like water. A prayer is a single note held long. There is so much life here. And too much death. I feel a soft breeze caress my face and I look up. An orange ribbon is floating through the air. In India, it's easy to see the wind.